Greetings,
Hello.
Hey guys.
all of us. Um,
Boy, it's been so long since I've seen you.
I
right,
know. Doesn't it
just
feel like
last
100
night.
years?
Right? A
Far
whole
too long.
24 hours.
In case you didn't know, these are the ladies from the Fox Den, Gina and Mama D. Gina B and Mama D. And I'm Raven, and that's Jessamy.
Hello.
So we decided to join together.
Join forces.
And I just want y'all to know that Gina is responsible for 99% of the graphics here.
Okay.
I teach, she asked me how do I do things, and then I just created some things for her. She's doing wonderful with them.
Yeah.
Told her how to make the video, and she makes the videos beautiful now.
Yep, they are beautiful. I love it. I love the candle being lit. Like that's my
perfect.
favorite.
And it,
I love it.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It really is.
Although last night on your show, I saw how you ended your show, and I was like so jealous
I can
because the video is so beautiful. So I loved it.
You make me an
I
audience.
happen to agree. I happen to agree, Judith, that Gina is a badass.
She
Mhm.
is. She
Yep,
she
sure.
actually is.
Come on.
But I don't know if you guys saw last night's show, but it was truly amazing. Truly. I don't know, Jessamy, if you've had a chance to see it yet.
I was
But
able to watch bits and pieces. Yeah, I had to kind of break it up a little bit through the workday. So
yeah,
yeah,
Aw.
yep.
it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had Vivian Chavot on, and she's a hybrid, avatar, half human, half Arcturian. Arcturian. Arcturian, whatever she is. But it was really cool. It was a cool show. I learned.
It was.
I did.
We brought Raven on because she knows more than Mama D and myself know, and
Which is not. I mean, I don't know a whole lot, but I know a little bit.
which was a little bit more than we knew. So what she was talking about, though, was energy manipulation, which we all know about.
Yeah.
Basically.
Absolutely.
So it's just a new spin on the same energy that we all
A different angle of it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, you guys work with you and Jessamy. You work with energies in a very different way. And Mama D and we work with energies in another way.
Yep.
Yes. We have, ready? Dun, 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 duke it out. We have paranormal versus Reiki.
Well, I do both. So
Yeah.
paranormal and Reiki. So yeah, I'll be in the middle. You can pull me apart.
I
So-
don't know.
I do pranic healing.
It's like a
too.
war.
That's energy manipulation.
Gina does pranic healing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we all have a certain amount of healing.
Yeah.
I think for every aspect of the woo-woo, paranormal, and everything else you want to call it, I love you too. We're healers from the foundation, because whether we're healing the mind, the body, or the soul, people have questions about paranormal, and you guys answer them, and that helps soothe them, helps ease them. So to me, everything that we do is a form of healing.
Exactly.
Totally. And like we were saying last night too, that it's all necessary. Every single aspect in this field and what everybody does, it's all necessary
100%.
to help everybody,
And
either heal, pass
It's
on.
not always beautiful either. It's not always, wonderful, mystical. Sometimes it's nitty gritty.
Yep.
It can be like, the hurting part of the soul can be ugly and terrible, and but it has to be loved anyway.
Exactly.
And,
Right.
Well, that's
and
okay.
people have to see that.
That's the thing to talk about right there, is when we go in as paranormal investigators, and we do have, all right, we're going in one like a counselor, right?
Mhm.
So we're going in, we're talking to the people first, obviously.
Right.
So we ask them, what's going on? What's going on between you and the spirit? And then we go and we get all that information and we write it all down and we have all our notes and everything. It's like, okay, then we get them out of the picture. Now we talk to the spirits. We say, come on. Okay. They said you're doing this and this and this. What do you say? and that's how you talk to them. You talk to them like
Right.
I'm talking to you, and
Yeah.
you'll get the story, the full story. If this is an intelligent hunt, they will tell you. But if
Mhm.
it's a nasty one and they're just bitter, and they could be bitter passing through, or they could be bitter residents. It's like it's up to us to find this out.
Mhm.
But our ultimate goal is, okay, how is this going to be rectified? Is it going to be you stay in this house and the people leave, the people stay in the house and you leave, or we find some way that you can coexist?
Mhm.
That's our ultimate goal. And sometimes they do need to be exercised if they're that nasty.
Right,
Yep.
right. And I'm not one of those investigators. I don't go around. I don't like to throw around the D word.
Nope.
It's kind of like the armchair psychology of Facebook University. Everybody's a narcissist. Selfish equals that doesn't work. So just because something is haunted and you don't like it doesn't make it a demon.
Totally. Yep.
But I
It's
mean,
the minority and not the majority.
exactly. I mean, it's always in the back of my head.
Mhm.
But the ones that have always got me, the true ones that I've come across have slipped past me and been around me for months before I knew of them. And I didn't realize that they were
observing you.
there. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were there until it was far too late and I was flat on my back trying to survive. And now I'm like learning the signs a lot better, but they're sneaky. They're sneaky and they're not going to rattle doors and chains and bump in the night, for right away. Like that's not how it works.
Mhm.
No, wait, because what I do with my aura regressions
Mhm.
is we find entities within people's bodies, and you're
Right.
saying the same thing
Mhm.
that you're doing.
Is what
We
you
are finding this as well.
Yeah.
Right.
cord
And
cutting and taking attachments off and taking
Yes.
attachments out of
Exactly.
buildings and protecting ourselves in the meantime. So
Yeah.
in our field, like I ground and shield twice a day, every day.
Mhm.
In the morning, that's how I start my day, and at night, it's how I end my day.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Get rid of the
Same here.
crap
Same.
of the day.
Yeah.
Do the same thing in the
Night
morning and in
is-
the evening.
Yeah, because the night they're going to come in because, if we're not listening to them during the day, they're going to definitely want to communicate with us at night.
That is my busy time at night. They wake me up all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got to yell at them sometimes. They just,
Mhm.
I need my sleep. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Gina has spirits in her house,
I do
Yeah.
too.
and
Yep.
they're like
Yeah.
residents of it. She'd be like, okay.
Mhm.
I still say they just better make sure they get out of my room when I move in.
Right. I grid and I ward very, very well.
Mhm.
And the spirits that usually come in like my room where I sleep are generally just pretty much looking for directions, or they have a goofy question or something that's I don't have an answer for. But
Well, you just need to work on it.
yeah, every so often, like the other night, I had one that woke both me and my son up, and she was not nice. And I got rid of it quickly, but my son sees them now too, and it's gotten to the point where the traffic is so heavy in and out of my room / office that even my parents, who didn't believe before, are now seeing people walk in and out, and they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "That's part of it." And I clear them out and
Mhm.
things like that. But when they need the healer, the help, then they come to me. But
Mhm.
there are times where I
You
can make
you-
them stop. But
Yeah, but you can designate an area for them to do that. You can
Right.
keep them out of the rest of the home. Mary Jane, does this sound a little familiar to you?
Yeah,
But
doesn't it?
I've been telling her this. But you can seal your whole house so that they can't come in
Oh,
at
yeah.
all.
right.
But
I
you can leave
yeah.
one room open and say, look, I will commune with you at
Mhm.
this time and on this day, and I'll, don't fight over it. Talk amongst yourselves because they will.
Right.
Say, all right, let's have this conversation. Give them like a day. Give them a good 5 hours
Business hours.
of your time, really, and they will agree.
Yeah. And I should do more like the business hours. The my space is limited in my home.
Mhm.
Currently living with my mother and father until my house is built. Hopefully, not hopefully, I will be moved into my home by Thanksgiving. That's the goal. So then I'll be able to have an actual office space set aside specifically for that.
Yep.
For the time being, they just they find me
Mm.
wherever I am. So, and that's okay. That's my job too. But I have to sleep.
Yeah, I had a
But
friend.
you do have to make the boundaries, right? Your
Yeah.
mama makes her boundaries. She makes her boundaries
Absolutely.
very stern.
I
Absolutely.
had a friend who used to have, for her, it was spirits would come to her and talk to her to want to give messages. And,
Mhm.
and it was nonstop. She was constantly, as much as she tried, she
Yeah.
wasn't. So
Bombarded.
she had this way of thing is that when she would wear a certain bracelet,
Mhm.
which means for spirits, that's her open time. But when she wasn't wearing that bracelet, they were not allowed to come through. And they
Yep.
pretty much abided by everything unless there was an emergency type of thing. She only said,
Mhm.
I think she said she had one where they kind of like jumped in and it was like, was worth the news that she got. But that is simple as that, just having that one thing, like Gina says, one room or just that bracelet, everybody gets the idea of it. So yeah.
Yep.
Can
I
I,
do
can
the same. Oh, sorry.
I say a story about an emergency, a spirit emergency?
Yes.
They saved me from a fire. This story is in a book, and Joni's one of the books up here on my shelf here. I got 2 stories in there. But the spirits in my house saved me from a fire. I was out working. This was after my husband passed away, and I was working like a dog because I had to take up all the pieces and pay all the bills and do all the work myself and finish his jobs and my jobs and everything. So I'm doing this basement. I'm tiling the floors and I'm cutting baseboards and I'm painting walls and putting in doors and doing everything. So and it's a big basement. This was a lot of tiles to lay, and I had to go run up the stairs and cut the tiles, and run down the stairs and put it in, and run up the stairs and cut the tile. And because I couldn't do it in the house because my saw sprayed water all over me. I got a better saw sense, but anyway. But I'm working my butt off, and I went home, and the lady was a nudge, and I really wanted to get this job done, and I really wanted to get the money. So I'm cutting the baseboards at home. It's winter. There's snow outside. I have my van parked outside my garage, which was my workshop, and all my vents are closed because it's winter time. And I had planned on cutting the boards at her house in her garage, but I took them home instead. So now I got sawdust all over the place, but I had a heater on. Okay. It's a portable flame heater, bullet heater. Okay.
Mhm.
And I had the door open and I thought, I think the sawdust is laying down enough, but I'm going to leave because I had the door open while I'm doing it. It's cold in there still. I said, oh, I'm so tired because I worked so hard all day. I'm going to go up, and I didn't even change. I'm still I'm covered with paint. I'm covered, like half of me was covered with the schmutz from the cutting the tiles, and it would spray the stuff on me. So I'm like all crusty, almost look like a half of a statue on one side, right? And the other side's clean. But I just went up and I just was sitting down, and I'm like falling asleep, and the spirits would make noises in my house when they wanted to talk to me, right? Now I'm like, I am tired. I want to just sleep. Leave me alone. Not available. They're getting louder. They're getting louder, and they're getting louder. And then it sounded like they were like banging pots and pans together down in my basement. So I get up and I stomp down the stairs like a 2-year-old in a tirade, like, what the hell? Oh, sorry. What do you want? And then I open the door to my workshop, and the particles in the air were just about to combust. Like you could see it, that they were turning, and I was like, oh shit, so excuse me again, but I opened the door, and I shut that heater off. Obviously, I took a leaf blower that I had there and blowing all the sawdust out the door and everything. I made a mess of everything. I had a vent on the wall. I had to unscrew the whole thing so that I could turn that on to suck air out of there and everything. But after I got done doing that, which took me a good amount of time, and I'm still tired, but now I'm wound up because, God, I could have died.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I go upstairs and I'm like, of course you say thank you, multiple times. I'm like, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound like an angry 2-year-old. I know I'm tired. I'm just really stressed. But thank you. And then I went upstairs and I sat down in my chair and I'm listening, and it's like, not a peep, not a sound. peaceful and quiet, and they left me alone the rest of the night.
Nice.
Right. So they can be helpful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I keep hearing about this, Gina. Tell me what Paracon is.
Oh, my Paracon is May 18th and 19th at Pennhurst. We have so many people coming. We have like Project Fear for ghost detectives and things, and ghost hunters. We have Project Fear, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Brothers, Kindred.
Aha, good girl.
And then we have Maria Mayer, the Bigfoot hunter girl. She's on the searching for Bigfoot online. Patty Negri, she's the psychic for Zach Bagans. We have some stars coming, like Bob Elmore, who's Leatherface, Tyler Main, who's Michael Myers, CJ Graham, who is Jason, Paul Taylor, who is Pinhead, Jessica Chabot, she's Exploration X. Chris Williams is one of the old ghost hunters. So many people are coming. It's like it's impossible to fit everybody on there. There's other special guests too, and probably a few more, different things before it comes out.
I'm sorry, I have to interject here. The most important person in that whole show, in that whole Paracon,
Ghost Brothers.
No, it's Gina. Right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Pennhurst Asylum, man, I haven't been there yet. Like that is on my bucket list.
Yeah,
Pennhurst and Trans-Allegheny.
We had like, Trans-Allegheny is amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I got my one and only heat anomaly there. Like I'm the queen of the flare. I got apparitions walking on the flare, void of heat, all purple. I've got one grope in my friend Sabrina, purple. Dark as dark can be. All this stuff. But at Trans-Allegheny, I got my first heat anomaly.
That's cool.
Footsteps walking all by themselves and burnt the back of Adam's neck as it walked by Adam, who's in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Insane.
Yes,
We could talk about places forever. But Pennhurst though, like last year we had about 4,000 guests. This year we probably will have 5,000 or better. We have more areas opened up, more buildings opened up. We have investigations during the day, investigations during the night, history tours going on. We have happy hour with all of those stars from those movies. We have, little VIP tent for, like if you go to pennhurstasylum.com and look at the ways that you can buy tickets, that's like all the things that are available to you all weekend. Or you can come in, and we got hundreds and hundreds of vendors, and I'm vending as well. So it's like for me, it's like 3 days no sleep, ongoing everything.
Oh, for sure.
And Haggis Hunter asks, do these just happen in the U.S.?
The Paracons are everywhere. This is Pennhurst. This is ours. Like in the U.S. I think where are you? Because MJ has Mia Paracon, something like that. What's it called? It's MJ who does it. I'd have to look that up. I could put it in the chat after if I remember what that was, but that's in the UK. But they're everywhere. I mean, they have, this Scarecon and Comic Fests and all that. And we have like the three big ones I say on our coast are us in May, which is Pennhurst Paracon. In July, the Bash.
In Scotland.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. I'm sure there is. I want to go to Scotland in the worst way.
Oh, big time. Yeah, I am so excited for you. If you ever need help, I kind of know a girl that's really, really into the paranormal kind of thing.
Really?
100%.
I wonder who she's talking about, though.
I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll save it. You got a big house? Who is the Haggis Hunter? You got a big house? You house us?
Right. We'll have to find a really cool haunted castle. I don't care if I'm sleeping in moss and rain. Right. It's fine. If I can sleep in a castle, I'll do it. I'll camp out.
Yeah, I would too. To be there, I would. and I don't do that anywhere else, but I would there.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just, but they are everywhere. But like I was saying though, so between Pennhurst, the Bash, Gettysburg Battlefield Bash in July, and Para Unity in November in New Jersey, those are the three, bigger ones, and fun and for causes and everything. Like we ours is to benefit Pennhurst. So all the proceeds go to renovate the place. And if you ever looked at Pennhurst history, they had so many buildings at the beginning, and had to knock down a lot of those buildings because they just weren't able to be fixed anymore. So the ones that are, though, they are putting all the money and effort into it. And now Devon even has lights. I mean, it's like one whole floor. It's painted. We were painting floors and everything else. Painted floors, painted walls, put in lights. I mean, it's like, there's still no running bathrooms, but hey,
Right.
for a hot location, what more
Yeah.
would you want? But we have outside areas, and can I just say that Pennhurst, if you guys like haunts, like to go through the haunts in October in haunted places and locations, they have the best haunt I've ever been to in my life. It took like a couple hours to go through the whole thing. And again, you have like a regular pass and a VIP pass. The VIP pass, you get to go through everything, and it's like you're going through the tunnels, and they are done like professionally. And there's so much smoke. It's so scary.
I love it.
That's what scares me, going through those things and you don't know what's going to come at you. The human part of it, but also there's spirits in there too. But they have stuff in there that the show Tanked on TV. Does all the aquariums. There are 2 of those there. I can't tell you what's in them, but there are 2 of those there. One is oh my God! I can't even. We used to go to Haunted Overload, and I thought that was great. That's like baby this compared to Oh my God, at Pennhurst.
Yeah, I've been to, we have in excuse me, in Columbia City, which is maybe 20 minutes away from me, a little bit westward. There is the old jail, and every October they make it into like the haunted jail. It's a really big, popular attraction. It's been going on for 20 odd years. Wonderful, and it is deliciously haunted as well. The jail was built, it was mid 1800s, I believe, or early 1800s. But I remember going through, I did a hunt there a long time ago, and the spirits were so excited because, part of them were like the grumpy old men. They would leave for a little bit. They didn't want anything to do with it. And then the others were like, this is what we really enjoy. This is a party for us. And they utilized it. They loved the energy. And, it was a jail, so some of them were a little bit squirrely than they should have been. But,
of course.
But it literally livened the place up. Even though people were scared, it was a thrill scared. So it brought a better energy to the place.
Totally.
And so it's always neat to see that. And then I've noticed that sometimes scary looking spirits that will come through. I've seen a few children that were like, well, we thought this is what we're supposed to do. They in their spirit mind, they were like, well, people are supposed to be scared of us. Or so it's like they dress up and they do like Halloween in their universe or parallel, whatever you want to call it. And so they're like, we didn't mean to scare everybody. We just thought that's what we were supposed to do. So I've come across a few of those. And
that's gonna be me. I'll come visit you. Okay.
Right.
I do my big Halloween display. I'll take a couple of my little ghoulie guys with me.
Exactly.
Come visit you.
She'll be chasing us up the stairs after the lights go out.
That's right.
100%.
Remember that the last one.
Yeah.
I'll be messing with the lights. I'll unscrew them and then put them back, and
I'll be grabbing people's butts. It's like,
I'll get the cat hopped up and make all the cats do zoomies at the same time.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. I'll watch all the cats doing this. Like, what's here? Oh my God.
Right.
But
We've
that's
just given away all of our secrets now.
I'll be dressed as a fox. Yeah, you can't really see them, can you? No,
Right.
they're up on my top shelf up here. I've got 2 big fox masks.
It's so funny.
Oh my God. But we went to a place, we were at the Oliver House, and they have dogs in there. That's
Mhm.
dog ghosts. And we had our cat, one of our trigger prop cats, because we have Vortex Ghost Care, making all the equipment. So we have dogs and cats, but we put a cat on the table, and the cat kept going crazy. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting any EVPs, so no one's owning up to the cat. Then I found out afterwards that they were ghost dogs, and they actually have their collars and everything. There's like a little passway, and there's like a kind of a little closet, like I don't know if it was hidden before or whatever, but the collars and some information and whatever for the dogs were in there. And there's like Native American stuff going on out back, and we were getting everything. It's like that, you never know. It doesn't have to be a ginormous location to get all kinds of evidence.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, I mean, animals stay around too, for sure, and especially when they're very protective of their people, their homes. They don't, they don't move on is like everybody thinks they do. Not always.
No,
I still
think
My dog Lacey, kept leaving me little bones that I stepped on when I get out of bed. I have the whole container full of everything that she left me.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
She had little light bits in her cereal her food that she didn't like, the little hard little light bits, and she would always spit those out. So once she found all the food in the house and left the food and little bones and treats and everything, she found a couple light bits and put them. Like, where the heck are you finding all this stuff, Lacey? I don't know, because I vacuum all the time, and it's only right there. When I get up, I'm stepping on them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
And
that was Lacey's way of saying, "Hey, Mom, I'm still here." It's like stepping on a Lego.
Yeah, I even got a video of her where she was on my bed, and I was video chatting with 2 of my girlfriends, and I'm looking, and I said, I think Lacey just jumped up on the bed, and I said, Lacey, lay down in your spot, and I turned the camera, and I had the camera on it, and it looked like it just, the bed went, oh, and I'm like, guys, are you seeing this? And they're both like, wow, yes,
Aww.
I'm like, oh, it's a baby.
Raven, we're gonna have to get you in on some hunts with this. So
And
I
Mama Dig,
think that would be a lot of fun to take you along. I would love to see how you utilize your gifts and your knowledge and how you would converse with them, because the way that you do everything is just so wonderful and beautiful, and it's clear. It's very, very clear and bright.
It is. That's because that's the way she is. With everything else, it's like you hear about Raven, and it's like it's like a window shade popping up.
Oh, thank you.
Because I love you.
Sometimes with what we do on the paranormal side, it seems like there's a lot of like darkness and shadow, and and of course you hunt at night, so like your mind just automatically goes to dark and shadow, and then a woman like Raven you are light and like glitter. Even like I when I think of you, I think of like particles, so it's almost like glittery light. It's not just light, and I would like to see
you. You're making me blush.
I'm sorry. I don't know where. Okay, you know me. Sometimes I get stuff, sometimes I don't, and all of a sudden we were talking about, and all I heard was, she's a unicorn part, sparkles and stardust. Where the hell did that come from? But
I love it.
I love unicorns, and that came from one of those angels.
You a unicorn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she works with the angels. That was one of the things. I saw a psychic, and he looked at me and goes, you are so freaking bright. He's like, I have to adjust to see you because I have 2 really bright angels behind me. And then the entourage, which was my late husband's entourage, not mine. I'm more of a loner. He was not.
That's like a whole bunch of men following you around, Jake?
You have an army, is what it is. Yeah, you got an army. You got backup.
Yeah.
So,
but I rely more on the angels. Trust me. Yeah. The entourage.
Yeah, I
but I got my best evidence ever, all of my very best evidence has been during the day, not at
Yeah.
night.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
if we're going to investigate at night. I mean, not saying that I don't get stuff at night, because I do. You know,
Right.
I investigate at night because everyone else is in bed and it's less interference with us.
Yep.
Noise.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Absolutely. And, and most of us work during the day too. If I could, I'd do it. I'd do it for a living. I'd love to, but it's not quite how it works.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they're just as active during the day. Like time doesn't stop for them.
No, it doesn't.
It
So,
doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And it's tough too. Like we have ghost detectives, so like filming so different than just investigating. I had to be schooled on this filming part of it. It's like I can't stop and start an investigation. I'm investigating. I am here to do, this is my job. I'm not going to wait for a camera person. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I want to do. And that didn't go over too well.
Somebody didn't like something Gina had to say. How rude and disrespectful can they be?
Gina, I have to ask, do you go in to a place blind? Meaning, like, do you read up on any of the history, or do you just want to go and do a walkthrough before anything?
No, I find out stuff. I learn about the history. I learn about how old is the building. I try to get the claims of it, from
Right.
various people before I go in, and then I make up my own mind still.
Mhm.
But if someone is going, I don't like a frustrated spirit. I really don't. I don't think it's fair to the spirit for me to go in. I'm not that psychically able. You know what I mean? So I don't want a spirit going, no, I'm this, and I'm asking, well, who's with me? And, I can at least have a couple names, it's like, is this the family of this? Is this, is this the person that, say you're at the jail, right? All right. Is this Red that's in that last cell? Is this, whoever it is that the claim is.
Right.
So like I would rather have them start interacting right away and feel more comfortable, and I'll get more. And then or they won't be at all. They'll be like, no, I am this, and then I have to listen to it. And then I will explain that to them that, if I can't see you and if I can't hear you and if you're not strong enough to put that out because, I'm not gifted.
But didn't you do investigations with Pookie and he would go in blind?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she would do all the research, but she had a psychic medium, an amazing dude. Pookalicious.
Yeah,
He would go in blind. He wouldn't get anything, and he would give what he gave, and generally it would coincide with technically with the alert.
He'd write a name down and see, like, it's Michael with a mustache, right? And write it down, and because he could see the person. And then like if we had people around us, I'd be doing like a spirit box and I'd say, is your name Michael? And it would say Michael, you know what I mean? And it would just answer every freaking thing that he said all the time. Awesome. And I'd say, do you have a mustache? And I think they said something about handlebars. So that was at the Yankee Peddler. That was me and Pookie and Tammy, and we had the best. It was just that echo box too that we were using. It was like the best session ever.
Yeah,
I love it.
To answer your question, Mary Jane, no, I have never been, but I have from time to time seen a couple entities, and I feel them. But I have never been on a ghost hunt. And my co-host hasn't taken me on one. I don't know why.
I'm getting there.
Sorry.
It's been busy. Yeah, I am going through withdrawals right now, honestly, because my partner that I have the paranormal business with, she's a travel nurse. She's in Tennessee at the moment on assignment. She's been down there for a couple months. I'd like to just drive down to Tennessee because I mean that's Civil War Central down there.
Yeah, that's another place I'd like to get to too.
Yeah. I did go on kind of a rescue mission. She got stranded down there, and I went to go get her. and you betcha that we found a ghost tour and a battlefield to kind of check out. But there are some places, like there's a really, really tiny, sweet little cemetery just a couple miles from my house that we found by accident during farm season a couple years ago. And we kind of got care of it. So I think Raven and we could go and investigate that. But it's kind of hard when you're solo. It seems harder to get into a lot of places. Because I'm not on a huge team. I'm on TSPI, but it seems like trying to get more people synced up is more difficult. And then if you're on your own, it's a lot more expensive. So
it is. We used to have, we had bigger teams. Like my first team, we were Staten Island Paranormal, and then it was 3D Paranormal, and then I started my own GB Investigations, and then it was I would just I just want to go by myself, honestly, But yeah, we had bigger things, but we would all pitch in, and get the bigger locations. Trans Allegheny is expensive, and then they make you pay for insurance, and you got to sign all these waivers and stuff. But you get the little piece of paper when you go in there, you get admitted. It's like a whole experience. So I was admitted for nymphomania.
Oh wow.
That's
special. I like that.
That's what was on my
jealous. Like, if you are not the kind of person that would be in some sort of asylum 100 years ago, are you really living?
Yeah.
So now, Tina, you have to admit, now you come from New England just like I do. Yep. Massachusetts and Rhode Island is full of paranormal. Yes. I mean, growing up in my neighborhood, we experienced a lot of paranormal things. I just never went on a ghost hunt, All
right. Well, if you go back to Rhode Island, go to Precious Blood Cemetery. And that's the Stigmata grave is there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we need to take a road trip, Raven.
And if I go to New England, I'm going to Salem. I'm sorry.
Well, like there is, if you would go to
parts of you are in Salem, right?
Oh yes,
yeah, absolutely. And my
Freya, she's in Salem.
Yeah. Like Raven and I both have family history in Salem. Like we've crisscrossed in Salem in the past, and I've always thought that was so cool. So
Kelly to Boston Spangler.
So yeah, we'll definitely have to go out, and you show me the cool places, I'll show you how to do the hunting, and I know that you will connect when you get into that mode, because when you get into it and you're in that like spiritual psychic mode, you can feel yourself being shifted, like almost to the side or even drop down. That's how I know I'm in the right spot, is when I feel like I've been dropped into my body, and then
I know that feeling.
My feelers just go out, and I know that you will connect big time when you get in that mind frame, and you are going to be so wildly powerful, and I can't wait to see it.
I know, you got to film her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a thermal camera or a FLIR or a thermal?
I don't think I have a thermal.
That is the most amazing tool.
Yeah, that's the only one I don't have.
I love. I do have so many apparitions on the FLIR. It's just, people ask you, do you really believe? You really think this is real? It's like, well, yeah. I got so much evidence,
absolutely,
proof that you can watch and see in the apparitions walking and everything else, with this thermal imagery and then regular imagery and the thousands of EVPs. But it's just, but it is all energy.
Yeah.
You feel it too. Like, I always say this story on our show. that I used to go to my friend Chris's house, and I couldn't stay there because the energy was so high. Because this girl's spirit there, she died, and she was there, and she was so wound up about where her stuff was going. And Chris, I said, just reassure her that her stuff went to the right place, tell her. And then she still wouldn't leave the house. And I'm like, I can't stay here because this place is like, ugh, it's just like someone turned that squelch up on a radio. Awful. I went all the way down the hall. Her hall was so long. He's sitting in the kitchen. The hall was so long. Went all the way down there into her room. And I said, I was just explaining. I said, listen, I'm going to bring some really powerful friends of mine to come over here to help me, to help you, to cross over so that, that you don't have to stay here. You don't have to be all upset like this. Your journey is continuing. Your friends are waiting for you. Your family's waiting for you. All this stuff. I was explaining the whole thing, just what we were going to, and I said the process that we were going to use and everything. And all of a sudden she left. And it was like someone took that knob that was way up here and went, poof, and it was just like, whoa, the whole house just, poof, just like what you would drop into your body. It was like that. He felt it in the kitchen. It was quiet in the house. And he's like, what happened? I said, she left. So I didn't have to go get the cavalry to come and help her go.
Well, you made her feel comfortable. So that everything was going to be cool. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yep. She needed reassurance. And,
Yeah.
sometimes they need like almost like that tough mother figure. Like, listen, you need to do this. And this is why. Yeah. And you've got people waiting on you. So you need to hurry up. No, kind of like getting them out the door first thing in the morning. Where's your shoes? Where's your shoes?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Well, no, we did have something in our garage for a while, and it kept turning on the alarm system, and the alarm system is not connected. So if you turn off the power, the alarm system comes on, and it's like crazy. And then it would turn the lights on and off in the garage, and you could hear footsteps. And so this went on for like a couple of weeks. And finally, I went out to the garage and I said, look, I saw what you did. And now, apparently, I'm just going to tell you this. If you can play nice, you can stay here. But if you can't play nice, you need to leave. And apparently, you don't know who you're dealing with.
There you go.
I haven't heard anything since, except for, and it was so hilarious, we have cameras all over, the place. And we had, the fire in the house, and Paul Davis came out and they were loading their van. They had the garage door open and they were loading their vans with stuff. So they would open up the van door, they would put the stuff in, they would turn around and the van doors would close. And that happened quite a few times, and the one girl looked at the other one, she's like, why do you keep closing the van door? And she's like, I'm not closing it. And I had to laugh when I looked at it on camera.
Do you sense anything? I think this is a teenage boy doing this. And that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Ooh, hello. Yes, confirmation.
Yeah, definitely male, 100%.
Yeah, I got angel bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you said that, yeah.
Yeah.
But and I mean, it was so hilarious to watch it on the film. And I wanted to say something to him, but I thought, no, I'm not going to say anything.
Nah, I cut out my phone. Just keep watching.
Funny, I just show him the film later.
Yep.
But it was funny. It was so funny. And every once in a while, you get something.
Yeah.
But you guys live so close. Jessamy, do you go to her house?
I've been over there before. We had, was it Mabon celebration over there? Yeah. Yep, the fall equinox.
See anything, sense anything, feel anything?
I didn't. But when I walked into her Reiki room, I looked up and I'm like, I love your grids. And that was the first thing I said. She was like, you can see them? And I'm like, oh yeah, because they were like neon lights to me. Like that's how I saw them. And I'm like, this is awesome. I mean, I didn't feel the spirit out in the garage, but like, I don't know. I was more focused on everything in the house. Raven's house is absolutely amazing, especially her basement. Like, she has another kitchen in the basement, ladies. Like,
Okay, so we know where we're moving into.
exactly. Exactly. Who doesn't want that second kitchen in the basement? Like,
Right.
I love it. I love it.
Well, my mom, when I was telling her we bought this house, and I said, Mom, I have 2 kitchens. I have one upstairs. I have 3 ovens, one in the wall and a stove with an oven, but I have 2 kitchens
Mhm.
and the other one's in the basement. And she goes, oh, Portuguese people moved in there or used to live there. And I'm like, what? Yeah, Portuguese people. They all have kitchens in their basements.
Well, I have a half a kitchen in my basement. I got
My great grandma.
a long thing. I got a sink, cabinets, and then right over there I got 2 more sinks. That's where the laundry is. But thank God, because my kitchen in this massive house, 3,954 square foot house.
Oh my
Huge,
goodness!
right?
Wow.
It's this big.
Yeah,
And I went from a massive kitchen to that.
Right.
I was a designer, so my kitchen
You
was
don't
like
cook.
beautiful. I have stuff. I filled my whole huge kitchen, so thank God I had
Still
those
though,
cabinets
you need a
in the
huge
basement.
kitchen if you're cook. Every time I talk to this woman during the day, she says, I'm having lunch. What are you having? Egg sandwich. Eggs.
Mhm.
Different ways of making egg sandwiches.
Peanut butter
But it's
sandwich.
always, but it's
Peanut butter
always
jelly- I
egg.
had peanut butter and jelly today and pizza for dinner.
There's a first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my great grandma had, and her house is just across the field from me. I live on a farm. The big farm was family farm, and then after she passed in 2020 at 104, or just shy of 104, everything was parceled up. But her house had the small kitchen upstairs, and then the basement kitchen was the big kitchen, and in the 50s, like 40s, 50s, that was where like the party prepping when your house parties and things like that, that's where that happened. And then that was also the canning kitchen, the kitchen that where you had like the big business of, all the vegetables coming in at harvest, you're canning, you're freezing everything. So that was the busy kitchen, and then the kitchen upstairs was like your day-to-day meals, little kitchen, which I thought was really cool.
Where you are you by Ohio? Where are you?
Where I'm in Fort Wayne. Raven and I are both in Fort Wayne, so it's Northeast Indiana. Raven's closer to the Ohio line than I am. From me though, it takes 20 minutes to get to the Ohio line. We're pretty close.
So a lot of those old homes have all those
about
summer
10 minutes.
kitchens. The separate building with the summer kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Very much.
I would love to have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would like to have.
I do can. I dehydrate. We freeze dry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that dehydrating.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had dehydrated watermelon?
We dehydrate.
Can you
chocolate.
do that?
You can dehydrate watermelon and it comes out like watermelon candy. It's like, it is amazing. I want to freeze dry it, but I've heard that dehydrating it tastes better. But
You have to get that
I wanna
huge
try.
machine and put the things all in.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work. I'm not a foodie. I'll do
Right.
other things for work, but
Yeah.
to deal with prep and buy food and stuff like that, I
Right.
hate it.
I
hate
have
it.
more fun like canning and freezing and what's preserving. I love to preserve food.
yeah.
I just don't like to sit there and cook for myself.
Yeah.
Because my son's a pretty picky eater. He's got ADHD and he's also on the spectrum. So there's that restricted food intake. He's got a certain safe foods, but he is branching out. He's trying vegetables now, but it's a slow process. But anyway, so 9 times out of 10, I'm on my own when it comes to food. So like, I don't want to make a big meal for myself. But when it comes to like canning, freezing, things like that, and then I can pass it to my siblings or set it back for me later. if I want to make a soup or whatever. But we're getting to the point where a lot of friends of mine and my siblings, we like to pass out like canned goods for Christmas and birthdays.
That makes sense.
My older
Oh, yeah.
sister gave me a jar of whipped honey for Easter.
Ooh.
And I
Ooh.
love it. I love it. It was just honey that she frothed up.
Wow.
And
You know, see, you don't want to cook a ton of food. But yes, Mary Jane, freeze dryers are expensive, but they're so worth it because I can cook a big meal for just Tim and I, and I make a big meal. And then I can take all the leftovers and freeze dry them. And then one night when we come home from work, all we have to do is add hot water, and it's like, I just made it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, guacamole. Oh my God, it tastes like fresh
Yeah.
made.
I
And
have,
how long
yeah, I
does
have
it
some
keep?
canned stuff that Bob's sister gave me. She made applesauce that she canned, beets.
Yeah.
What else did she give me? Oh, some beans.
Mhm.
A few other things. So I had all these little cans, you know, the jars and the big jars and stuff. The applesauce is amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But you have to, you know, right now in this day and age, with everything that is going on, you know, canning, freeze drying,
Mm-hmm.
any way that you can preserve your food. If your
Yeah,
freezer goes out, you're screwed. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freeze drying. And how long does that last, Raven? Isn't it like 20 or 25 years or something?
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you can't go wrong with that. And you know,
And then
it's
that's
gonna-
worth the paying the amount for the machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
it would pay for itself very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just
Thank you,
absolutely phenomenal.
Judith. Nice to meet you too.
Love you, love you.
But you know, I think it would really be beneficial to get back to that kind of society in
It
the small
is.
communities of, you know, trading back and forth. You know, make your own food, and then you know, if Betty needs a little bit of salt, then you know, send over a can of tomatoes with it, and she can send some flour later when you need it. You know,
Oh,
things like
nice.
that,
Yeah.
like how it used
Yeah.
to be. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's how I am with Marsha, but mostly Marsha brings me everything.
Yep. I've got a lady at work.
Yes,
I mean, you have to look at what they put in foods. Because
Yes.
when I can something or I freeze dry it or I dehydrate it, I know what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I put in there. And Tim loves to garden.
Yeah.
So, you know, we get to do that. I love that.
Ooh, Linda
Mm.
just made me hungry. Lasagna and shepherd's pie, freezing.
They had
Yes.
me at lasagna.
100%.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
swear to God, I
Yep.
got to move to the
My
States.
lasagna is
Around
like
all you people.
Right?
But I mean, we have to
Oh,
get
that's
back to the basics
Yeah.
because they're putting so many chemicals and stuff in our food.
Mm.
Well,
And-
I had that balsamic vinegar that I was cooking with earlier, and after I had eaten most of my stuff, I looked at the label and it has lead. There's lead
Oh,
content
damn.
in balsamic vinegar.
Well,
And
I have an app
yeah,
that we
and-
get
and
to the grocery store.
apparently to find the balsamic vinegar that doesn't contain lead, it's got to be like it's the super expensive stuff, and it's mostly straight alcohol at that point. So it's like, and it's very hard on your teeth, very hard on your teeth, and it's like, you know,
so is
and then
apple cider vinegar, people.
yeah, and the websites are like, oh, you know, a tablespoon at a time isn't bad, blah blah blah. Well, when you're eating a Mediterranean diet, balsamic vinegar is in like everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And so, but the fact that it's just blatantly right on the label, yeah, it contains lead. Who does that?
I don't get it, and I don't get why people put all this stuff in dog food too and can get away
Oh.
with it. You know,
it's awful.
it irks me to no end.
Do you know that we're the only country? Our food in the United States is the worst in the world.
Yep.
People in other countries, they don't have their food isn't like ours.
No.
No.
I
Yeah,
have
a
this.
lot of-
We have an app that when we go to the grocery store, we scan it.
Mhm.
And it'll tell you what kind of toxins are in. And so we scan just about everything that we buy. Of course, we end up around the outside of the grocery store buying fruits and vegetables and
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. One of my only jobs that I worked for someone else was a fruit stand, and that was, to have all that fresh like that.
Vegetable oil, really?
Mm. My
Wow. I
my
don't
my
like.
family owns a farmer's market.
Hmm.
It grew up in the produce business. My grandpa had the real Italian friends, the
Mhm.
Sicilians and the Sardinians, and like they knew their produce.
Yep.
And, and very,
That's
very,
the,
very, they
that's the
still have a
family that
very
molded me into who I am today. That I
right,
did not want
right.
to work for anybody else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have a very, very deep love of that Italian family style because I grew up with them. Like I was 1 and 2 years old sitting on the desk of millionaire CEO, fruit and
Oh,
vegetable
Diana,
people. Yeah, it was great. I love it. And Uncle Joe Casaro, he was one of my very favorite people. And I adored him. But yeah, like when you grow up with food like that, with good food, and then
Mhm.
you hear of the things that are going in other foods that are being
Yep.
processed, it's like, why this is and I've gotten to the point where it's like all I want is the
Big
fruits
sandwich.
and the vegetables. And like right now is orange season. It's navel orange season from Florida. It's my
Mhm.
favorite, and
Mhm.
I'm going nuts. I eat probably like 2 oranges a day.
I love the white.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
It's like I have a
So
process when
good.
I eat an orange. I got to make the peel go all the way around,
Mhm.
but I make it really thin so that all the white stays on the orange, and then you
Right.
eat all the white, and then you can
That's
break it
so
apart.
good.
That white stuff is really very good for you.
Mhm.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
is.
Those the skin. You got to take a little piece of the skin too.
Mhm.
yeah.
Little bite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of your family in Huntertown Gardens,
mhm,
they have their flowers and stuff in yet?
I believe my parents went and got the first load yesterday. So they should be in. It's still too early to plant. I know I'm excited. I want to get my flowers in. We
Yeah.
can't plant anything around here until Mother's Day because there's always like one last cold snap.
I know,
Um,
but Huntertown Gardens always has the black petunias, and I love
mhm. Oh,
they're
beautiful,
beautiful.
beautiful.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
and we get the starry petunias, which are and there's some called galaxy petunias, so they're purple and then with some pink, and then they've got like white flecks all over them that look like a galaxy.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I
Wow.
like the black ones, so I always
Yeah,
go there
the black
and
ones.
I snatch up all that I can buy, and we
Mhm.
have this big thing that goes in the driveway,
Oh my
and
God. You
it's
have to
full
send
of black
pictures. You need to
petunias.
have that done. I want to see pictures.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
It's beautiful. And
Yeah,
I
that was always a part of too of the whole fruit stand experience
mhm.
was doing
Yep.
between flowers and the graveyard flowers and all the
Right,
different off season things and then wreaths and the Christmas trees and all that other kind of
right.
stuff. And we would take all that stuff too and go off to a site,
Mhm.
to sell those. And then sometimes when it was corn season, we'd go off site, onto a little roadside stand too. That was a part of it. But,
Right,
we'd sell corn and tomatoes,
right. Yep,
so people could just
absolutely.
drive up. We could throw it in their car and they drive off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
And
What a good
my
business.
my grandpa, and we were very close. And I was homeschooled. Out of the 4 kids, I was the only one homeschooled. And he drove the truck to get our produce, things like that. My mom and my grandpa always they did the truck driving. So I would go with him a lot of times to go and get our loads and things like that. And he passed away in 2020.
Oh, sorry.
And thank you. And when he comes to me in my dreams and we
Small
talk and
produce.
converse, we're always in the truck. We're in the Freightliner. We have the bluegrass music playing and we're talking again. Um, 2 nights ago, he came to me in the dreams and I was sitting on one of the wooden bin boxes that had apples in it. And that's my favorite season. That was his favorite season, was apple season. And it was so real that I could smell the apples. They were Macintosh. I know that smell. Um, but that is where he and I are able to meet. We meet up in those
It's
in that
amazing.
plane, in that reality
It-
of the
It's
the
so
market or um but anytime if I have any other dreams about the market, they're not usually good. I don't get along with the rest of my family. My grandfather and I were so close though. Um, and I love that. That is the
Their loss. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
thank
agreed.
you. Thank
Mhm.
you. But when it comes to him, he had such a passion for the business, for the people, for the 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 material, the fruit, the vegetables. Like he just knew when he would bite into a peach, or an apple that first of the season, and just that look on his
Mhm.
face, what
Yep.
was everything.
Oh,
That was
oh,
art.
the
He
snap
could
of
make
those green beans when they came in, I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God,
yes,
I would eat so many
yep.
green beans, I'd make myself sick.
Yeah, they could make it into an art form, and
Mm.
it's not the same as it used to be. The old world gentlemen really knew
Yes.
what they were
Yeah,
doing.
I went
It was an art form.
totally, and it was very
Yep,
connected.
yep.
But where we got our vegetables from was the North End in Boston. So it's like
Mhm,
Faneuil Hall and all that area
mhm.
where like Paul Revere's, little
Yep,
chap
yep.
all that
Liberty
area.
Liberty Trail. I love Boston.
Yeah. So
Cool.
so to I only went on that trip twice because it
Mhm.
is the boy zone.
Yeah, yeah. It
Even
is.
though
It
I
is.
was, out to prove myself and I was strong like a bull, I was nothing but muscle because of
Mhm.
work, but that's why I was
Yep.
going is to load the trucks. You got to load real quick,
Mhm.
real fast.
Yep.
And those watching them men do that business so perfectly and so, oh my God, it was like, it was almost like a movie.
Yeah, they could load and unload in white suits and never get a thing on them.
But not right.
I've
I
seen that.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
and
watched
the
those guys do
hat
it.
and the everything. It was just like, oh my God. And there was this one
Perfection.
guy, Arthur. I was so in love with this guy, Arthur. I had such a crush. He was maybe, I don't know, 70 something. And I'm like, 16, 17, I
Mhm.
think. But I'm just like, every time he come in, he was
Yeah.
so suave. He was like Dean Martin and Frank
Mhm.
Sinatra and any, suave
Mhm. That
Italian man.
gentleman type of energy.
Yeah,
Mm.
but you don't wanna mess with that man.
Ooh,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
nope.
Know what I
They
mean?
they yeah, they know what they are doing on all sides of things.
Yep.
Mhm.
But I remember, I think I was 8 when Uncle Joe Casaro passed away. Bless him, rest him. A phenomenal man, business wise, and he never treated me like a child. He treated me like somebody who could process anything. And I remember all the little lessons that he taught me, and one of them was that a businesswoman always has a pen, a businessman always has a pen. And ever since then, I've always made sure that I've had a pen somewhere.
Mhm.
Sometimes I leave it in the car, but I have a pen somewhere. Exactly.
Yep.
A business person always has a pen, and business person does this, and make sure if you're going to wear a suit, make sure it's the right suit and for the right thing, and just things that
Little
you
things,
wouldn't
but
think an
important
8-year-old would
things.
hang
And
on to,
don't
but
disrespect until it's time to disrespect. You know what
exactly,
I mean? It's like
exactly.
you treat
And
everybody.
yeah, and even then, yeah, because they had talked about disrespect, to my mom and things like that. Lessons on that was, you know, be firm and don't fully disrespect, because you never know when you need somebody later, or you never
Mhm.
know, because you don't want people to become your enemy later. So,
Don't burn those
you can
bridges.
be business and you can be firm, but at the same time, don't cut people off.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
So,
look at Raven's screen going bing, bing, bing. So there's something
mhm.
going on in her mind, and look at the
Oh,
energy.
it's
She's
yeah, but her light's been
Sorry,
going
yeah,
long
I
since
went I
before
went
the
down the
show.
Italian rabbit hole there.
No, I've just been watching the screen, just
Mhm.
Mhm.
the lights and the energy.
Since before the
I have
show.
a visitor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
since
Yeah, I was
before
gonna
the
say
show
you've got
started.
somebody in your doorway.
spotlight.
They keep, like, popping in and out, and yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my son.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't feel anything bad. It's one of
Mhm.
those, "Is she done yet? She done yet?"
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
cat last night.
Mhm.
yeah,
Cat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the cat was amazing.
Adorable.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but the cat was the star of the show last night.
right. Every time Vivian would talk, they
Yeah.
would come in.
Exactly. I love Linda. Would she
Yeah.
come in? I thought Tim was flickering lights.
No,
Linda.
there are no flickering lights in this room.
Nope.
But this is my room, and it has a lot of energy, and it has a lot
Yeah.
of energy. My deceased son stays with me a lot,
Yeah.
so he likes to play around with the way the lights are.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I had lights flickering in my dining room downstairs before. Like we've investigated, like there's a few areas that they really like to congregate in my home,
Mhm.
and one space is the dining room. And I had my friend over, Tammy, and her boyfriend, and we were investigating in there, and the lights are flickering a little bit. And she picked up on it, so she said something, and I'm like, I think the lights just do that in here because it's just an old house and old wiring.
Mhm.
And that freaking comes over the spirit box. We touch the lights. I was like, no
Well, then
kidding.
you can use those to communicate then. Like, all right,
Exactly.
do some
Okay,
yes, no
so we do
questions.
we have all kinds of
Maybe I need to get a spirit box for my home.
Mhm.
You want to know what's amazing? And I know we're going overtime,
Make
but
those.
I love you. They make them, but they created a non-touch spirit board.
Yeah.
It's just nobody touches it. They don't have a go for it. They don't.
Okay.
You don't have a. Why did I forget the word? The thing that goes around the board. Your hands don't touch it. Spirit has to
Like a
hover over the
planchette?
letter. Planchette. Thank you. Spirit has to hover over it. She may be bringing it back, and it's just like seriously, and it's like it's one of a kind. I hate to say it, but her partner is a brilliant man, and when it comes to trinkets and gizmos and gadgets, and he's got the sexiest pair of calves available by any man. But that's my.
Okay.
They were at an event last year, and I was talking about it, and the friend went down. And I said, "Tell him I said hi, or sign his calves for me," and she did. Next year, they're selling the pictures of the calves that were signed. I'm gonna kill you, girl. They're selling they're putting the pictures in a basket of drawing things. Picture of his thighs with my signature, owned by Mama D.
I'm all excited. It's like this big unveiling. She keeps, Jeannie, you keep looking at the camera and you got this like grin on your face. It just excites me even more because I know it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It is good, but I have to put all the batteries back in. There are 560 wires on this thing.
Oh my goodness.
No. It's one of a kind. I hate to see the person who actually asks to buy one that's gonna cost a fortune. A fortune.
Oh, is this the thing that you used when you went down to Massachusetts with your grandchildren?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's lovely. That is.
Yeah.
Okay. So now.
Oh, I love it.
I got to turn on, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't break it. Here we go.
Nope. There you go.
So.
No planchette. Just it goes by energy.
Spirits have to actually come in and point to a specific letter. All right. There's goodbye in the center. There's yes. There's no. All right. So let me see. Where's my camera at? This way. Here, go this way. All right. So it's the only one of its kind, hand free.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Ouija board.
Wow.
So they come in. Now, when we were doing this, we were doing an interview with some college students that were coming over asking us about investigating. They didn't realize that we built equipment, and we just got done making this, right? And we put it on the table, and we're talking to them, and the spirit goes over and presses the W, and then it goes over and it does the 0, and then it went back to the W, and I'm like, W0, W. Then it went W, and then it went over because the O is over here to the O, and then back to the W. It was like, it was trying to spell wow, like, hey, we can communicate with this and saying wow, but it realized it made the mistake with the 0, corrected it to the W, to the O. That's how on top they are in my house. But that is a one-of-a-kind thing.
That is so cool.
One of a kind. Yeah.
It's a million freaking wires in this thing.
Oh, that is so cool, though. Absolutely amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Phenomenal.
6 months to build, and yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to see it in action. Like, are you going to take it to Penhurst or anything?
Yep.
And
Oh yeah. Yep. We did
yeah,
get the Penhurst. It didn't do a lot, but you got to realize too, again, your audience. You know what I mean? Penhurst audience is probably not the best place to take that unless you have someone that can actually spell.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a mismatch.
right. Salad type
They're
thing.
they're no, they're not well people there. You know what I mean? They're they're doing this and stuff, and they can't talk and they can't point to a number. I mean, if they go home like this, they're not going to point to
Yeah.
a number or a letter. So again, it might be beneficial to go somewhere else. But
Mhm.
but we were still in test mode and stuff. Some things might set things up. Like when we moved it from the center of the table over, and we have a crystal chandelier. When the crystal shined down on it, like a light hit it,
Mhm.
I think that was making it go off. So you have to make sure that you put it in a spot where there isn't any interference like that.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Well, maybe if the patients aren't able to use it, maybe Nurse Ratchet or something can come out of the alcove and talk to
A
the
doctor
doctors.
or an intern or something, but it is
Right.
mostly the inmates and the inmates, the
Yeah.
people that the residents there,
Mhm.
that
Absolutely.
communicate with you, But they love our cats and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Go and pet those, and they like playing with those, and the things that look more like toys are domes. They like the lights, so they play with that,
Yeah.
in our geophone. Now they love our music boxes. So I have like
Mhm.
our music box. We have some that will play kids like songs. So like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, they'll set that thing off and keep setting it off because they like it. Like it resonates with them.
Mhm.
So but the equipment that we make is for all senses in the field. So the dome is for static, that's manifestation. The geophone is vibration, footsteps and tapping, and that can
Right.
be adjusted too for a hard floor or soft floor, or whatever surface. So you can use that to monitor footsteps, or you can use that as a communication technique, like Cody and Satori use that
Yep.
do that ABC thing. That's what they
Mhm.
use is our geophone.
Right.
And then we have like the trigger prop cats and dogs. Those are proximity. You actually have to touch them. They have
Mhm.
two modes. They have, music mode and the REM mode, which is like a nasty or a nice soothing music, But the kids love playing with that because they light up and,
Right.
and they like doing that. We have like a V pod, which is a small, sleek little, almost like a REM pod, but it's
Mhm.
smaller, sleeker, and the antenna folds, and you can put it right in your pocket, and
Mhm.
but it acts like a REM. But you actually, again, have to physically, come into that range, into that antenna.
Right.
And we
Right.
again have two modes on that, music and REM. Then we
Mhm.
have our HTO, which is like specific items. So say, okay, this is not metal, right? But you can hook anything that you want with an alligator clip from our HTO to anything metal.
Right.
But
Mhm.
this is what's being touched all the time. So you take this and you put it on a metal tray and you hook the HTO up to the metal tray. And then if they come in and touch this, then
Then it
the light will
becomes
go off and the sound will go off if you so choose to turn that on.
right.
So we have let's see. All right, dome. That I'm trying to think of all things in the spirit box.
All the different.
So the music box can be any design you wanted. Like I could put your logo up there in the corner on the
Mhm.
music box, we could play whatever music you wanted in the music box. And that when you set it in a direction, you point it in the direction that you want to monitor, it's not only motion, it's motion and temperature.
Mhm.
So if a spirit goes by and it's cold or hot, it's
Mhm.
gonna
You
go
can see
off,
it.
So if it goes quickly, the music turns on, the light turns on quick and turns off,
Right.
But if something stays and it lingers in front of the box, the music continues to play, and then okay, something's there. Start talking.
Right.
Get your
Right.
recorder down, start communicating. They're right in front of you.
I had the SLS camera out, and I don't. For those that don't know, the SLS is like kind of like your Xbox Connect, where it has like the lines and the dots, and it maps your body out. And there was one day I kept seeing somebody walk back and forth in front of my SLS camera, and I was like, I can see you, right? I can see where your head is, your body, and it stepped in the middle of the room and it did a dance and went like this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
Yep.
you're dancing for me. And then it went faster.
Yeah.
It started dancing even faster. So like,
Yep.
sometimes they just want to have fun. They want to pay, they just want you to pay attention. And sometimes they don't realize that you can see them until you say something.
Exactly. I shamed that apparition that was groping my friend. Shamed right out of the room. It shrunk. It went back into the wall, and I said, "Are you grabbing my friend?" I was appalled, and it was just like, what, because she said to me, "Is there something on my chest?" And I take the player and I come around, and I was like, "Oh, holy crap!"
Right. Exactly.
And this entity with this hand right on her breast. She is.
I had one. This one was at Randolph. It was my first official ghost hunt on my first official team, and we had the ghost box going, and we were in the basement in the maintenance area, and I felt somebody grab my butt, and my friend Loki was like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like, "Hey, I think it was Wayne." He was like, "Hey, Wayne, that's not very nice." And on the spirit box, he goes, "Well, I like her." And I was like, I don't like that,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it was a little bit different, but
there's a line.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And then, well, it was last month, before the one convention in Ohio. My partner and I had went to the Monroe House in Hartford City, and she and one of our other teammates was in the basement, and Amy was asking questions, and on the ghost box, they heard "You can hear me?" And Amy was like, yes, talk. And they got evidence, but there had to just be that right shift in the veil, and then that woman realized that we could hear her if she just spoke.
Yep.
And so now hopefully that'll,
going up to the 3rd floor in Hillview, and it's like,
right.
I'm putting on the equipment in the hall and stuff, and I'm like, go ahead out there and touch it. And they're talking to each other, and they're saying, I'm not going to touch that. You touch it. They're like, no, I'm not going to touch that. And then I'm listening to it, because I'm doing real time, because you can do real time where you put headphones on and put it onto your recorder so you can hear it real time, not even over a spirit box or anything, right through your recorder. So I'm listening real time, and I'm like answering them. I'm like, it's not going to hurt you. You can touch it. Don't tell them not to touch it. Did you tell him not to touch it? And then they're answering everything back at me, like talking to themselves, going, who did you say something to her? How does she know what we're saying? You know what I mean? And it's just like this thing that went back and forth for a while, and I have it all on recording,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then they were
cool.
like, there too. They were like, they used to go down. There was a golf course, I guess, nearby, and if they collected the golf balls and brought them back, they would get money and they could buy cigarettes, or they would take pictures of people and pay for, get paid to take pictures. So I said, it was something Jules. I can't remember the other one's name, but it was Jules and something. And I said, Jules, can you take my picture? And he went, smile, click, click. Like, oh my God. And then the team that I was with, we always played around, and I'll tell you, the spirits loved it when we played around.
Oh, yeah.
But they came up and they were trying to scare me, which never worked, right? But they were trying to scare me. And then they come up, and it's like, and we're wrapping up at the end of the night, and we're going into one of the rooms, and we realize that the buzzer works on the wall. So we're like laughing, hysterical. We're all tired. We've been investigating all day long, so we're tired, and we're just out of control, and we're hitting the buzzer, and ha, 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 ha. And you hear on my recorder, I still had all my stuff going in the hallway right by the nurse's station, everything else. You hear a nurse yelling, girls, 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 like yelling at us to stop with the buzzer, so I mean, they just it's endless. I mean, I have like thousands of these stories, and it's
I love it.
So fun. It's so amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And there's something that is healing about it too. When you make that connection and they realize that they're not forgotten, there's something that is hugely healed. Because a lot of times for 100 years or longer, they think they're forgotten. And then all of a sudden somebody like us comes along and we can see them and hear them. And they're like, wait a minute. And it's almost like we scare them sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah. But it's when you're able to talk to them and you're able to give them a little bit of peace, even if they don't move on, that is healing too, just in a different form. And I love that.
That's a lot of the hauntings in the houses.
Yeah.
Like I was saying about, being a counselor. It's like, well, the spirit didn't like that you removed his favorite wallpaper.
Right.
Is there any way you can put, something similar to it back in the dining room? Would that be too much for you to,
take the piece of paper and put it in a picture frame, set it up somewhere, something like that. Anything.
Something to appease, you know what I mean? To just make effort,
absolutely.
and that sometimes is enough. And if it's not, then then we have to come up with
mediate a little bit. But
other
absolutely. And I'm starting to get deeper into the quantum physics side of things now. So I'm like, if we heal this timeline, then I can heal that timeline, and then we're going to heal this timeline, and then we're going to go back in time because it's
slow down.
And it's like, it is awesome. And so, it's become beautiful. It's not just spooky and running around in dark buildings. It's something really beautiful.
I don't see it as scary at all. But
so Linda, which grandpa was it the house that you grew up in across the driveway that had the ghost? Because that was Pavo's house and that did have a ghost in it.
I guess something happening. There's a bunch of sirens going on outside.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I remember that. Linda is my cousin, and I told you in New England, like it's Ghost City. And I remember that ghost in that house too. Well, Joe was afraid of it.
I remember when I was, I don't know, maybe 12 or so, there was a farmhouse down where my girlfriend was. She lived at the mansion on the hill, and we had the little house down in the valley, And I was going from her house down to my house, and I decided to walk down by myself down the long way back to my house. And we go by the haunted farm, And I swear to God, I saw the lady in the long white dress and standing in the doorway, and I'm just like waving, and she's just standing there. I'm like, okay, and I walked, and I just went down because that's where the path was to cut through. You go past that house and down, and I'm like, well, maybe someone, lives there now. I'm telling my friends about this later, and they're like, no, you just saw the ghost. There's no one in that house. I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
the Bridgewater Triangle. Yeah, so that's what's his name's territory there.
Mike Ricksecker.
No, not Mike.
No.
Oh God, what the hell's his name? He does all the tours and all the books. Jeff Belanger.
Oh,
the books on the Bridgewater Triangle and stuff.
The
Pudge Wudgies or the Pickwickets or whatever the hell they're called.
Right.
The little guys. I don't know what they are. Like cryptic. I'm not big on that cryptids, but Bridgewater Triangle is more like bigger than a triangle.
She lives in Taunton, Mass.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Yep. It's a lot bigger than a triangle, and actually, kind of, it's a messed up triangle because it kind of goes out, and
Yeah. I'd love to be able to take a couple weeks and just hang out just on the East Coast. When I say I want to travel the United States, it's all East Coast. Everything that I love is east of me. Chicago's cool.
So much out there. Did you go to everything out there? You've got all the haunted towns in the old West, and Nevada and Tennessee and all of those. But you've got the best prison by you, Ohio Reformatory.
Oh yeah. That's a few hours east still, but yeah, I haven't got there. Yeah, I was supposed to go a few weeks ago, but I was supposed to go the week after I went to Middletown, so it was going to be in the middle of March. And like I had just gotten home on one Sunday from Florida, and then the next week we had the conference, and then the next week I had another ghost hunt, and then the week after that we're supposed to go to the Ohio Reformatory, and I was sick. I was so sick. I had a terrible sinus infection. Took me over a month to get over after Florida, and I felt kind of bad. I was at the Monroe House, and it's supposed to be, they call it the Demon House of Indiana, not the one in Gary. But it's supposed to have a very active demon, and it's supposed to be extremely active. I was in there for 2 hours, and I'm like, you guys, this place is dead. Like, there's nothing here. I'm going to bed. And I went to the back bedroom where there was a bed, and I crashed. And I slept for like 8 hours because I'm like, I'm tired, I'm grumpy, I'm sick, I'm not doing this. If I am in a place where I am like, where my hair is standing up on the edge and everything, like I could feel something, I'm not going to sleep.
No.
But I
did test out, even though I felt that at Trans Allegheny, because the second time I went to Trans Allegheny, that's when I brought all this crap back to my house, this really bad thing that did all this damage and blew up all my electronics and smashed my microwave and all kinds of stuff, But I did a lot of things. So I went from Massachusetts to Staten Island to pick someone up, over to Lenox, and we went to the mansion, out to Trans Allegheny, investigated all night, went over to Hillview, investigated all night. Then I drove him back to Staten Island on my way back to Lenox. Then I went to the Hoosac Tunnel, went into the tunnel all alone, and I took home a spike and a freaking brick. And I'm like, my whole career in this paranormal, I'm like, do not take a pebble from a location home or a grain of sand. Okay. Do not do it. So here I am, because I have had no sleep. I am just like, I'm out of my mind. And I took that home, and whatever was attached to that was this awful thing.
Right.
And I was yelling at it like, so, you're hiding in the shadows of my house, and what do I got to do for you to show yourself to me, and blah, 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 blah. And it says, sacrifice your dog. I said, that's it. Called up everybody that I know, and I had them come over. We did this whole thing, to get this thing out of my house, but it smashed my very expensive microwave. It cost me like $3,500 to replace all my electronics that it messed up. And, and then another $600 to replace my microwave. I'm like, son of a bitch bastard, But I mean, it's like
it can get real. It really can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's how experienced you are. Don't go putting yourself at risk. By doing something like that. Try to fit in so many locations in a little bit of time, and no sleep and driving and this and that. Don't. It's not worth it.
Do as she says, not as she does.
Not as she does.
There you go.
Right.
Well, I don't do that anymore, and I will.
And when you're sick and you're not feeling great, or you're really tired, like you become susceptible, and more vulnerable. And it was just one of those things where it was like the worst timing ever. But when that time where I was able to go to the Ohio Reformatory, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I do not feel well. I am never one to turn down an investigation, but I knew that that is the worst place to go if you are not at your best.
Yeah, that is the place that I got nervous at, because that team that I went to the first time I went there, there was a gay girl on our team, and she always taunted the inmates and stuff. And we were there before everybody else, and we were down in the basement, just me and her. And she's sitting Indian style on the ground, and I'm filming, and she's taunting these guys, and she's saying that, and I'm not going to really say what she said exactly on here, but and she had a shirt, it was kind of off her shoulder, and I watched it happen. An entity came up, it bit her. Right? Now I felt that bite getting redder and redder and redder, and I said, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe you did that." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you
made him mad.
What are you talking about? You're talking.
You can't disrespect them.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. But now down there, that was the place that we picked, because that team, we would always say, everyone has to go alone into the worst parts of a place for 20 to 40 minutes or whatever by yourself. So I had to go down there, and I'm like, I was fine walking by that area where that happened, but I had to walk through the little maze to get to the stairs that were down by the governor's stairs coming down that part, right? And that's where we were sitting. And now I'm sitting there investigating, and all of a sudden I'm getting like antsy, nervous, and then I'm getting scared, and it's like I feel like I'm getting closed in on. You know what I mean? And it's like they have all these rooms off to the side there, all open, you know. And I think that they were just coming in, and I'm like, "Okay, guys, I'm done."
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
100%.
and I left, and I think that's the only time that I ever really got scared. Oh no, no, because Sue actually, the cell that he was in for solitary, right, for the movie for Shawshank. I was sitting in there, and she actually shut the door, and it freaking locked. And I'm in there by myself. At least I had equipment, so I started investigating. And she was going to go help. And again, at the beginning, I was fine. But then I'm in there and waiting and waiting and waiting. And now I'm getting, it's dark, and I'm getting nervous. And I'm just like, oh, man. And then I'm trying to put myself into their position. Like, what was this like? That if this was really, you're the inmate and you're in here 24/7.
Yeah. No light, no nothing.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's maddening. That's why they went insane.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it's like, that little time there, I'm like, that's enough. It's enough.
And I'm sure that when those guys were in the dark, either their own inner demons would come out and taunt them, or there could be things in there that would taunt them to drive them to madness, because it's such a place of despair and anger that, and things like that get attracted.
Yeah, that's a huge energy, and that energy lingers. And it's really, it's harder. But that's when you need the ravens and the Mama D's, coming in with their radiance and that bright light, because then that will disrupt all that dark energy, and then they don't even know what to do. And then they'll be like, ooh, what's this light? I mean, oh, there's happiness. There can be happiness, and it's like, yes, there can be happiness. Yes.
Happiness and love. And Raven, like when she walks past you, you can see the vibrations like following off of her, like just falling off of her. It's like a golden cloak. And that's why I'm like, when you do get to come with me on an investigation, things are going to either amp up.
They're going to be attracted to her.
Well, they'll amp up, but
be attracted to her too.
Yeah, things are going to amp up for everybody involved, or I have a feeling there's going to be just even a couple people that's just going to want to have to sit down with you, and they'll talk your ear off. Like I can already feel that. There's already a couple people that's like, I got dibs.
Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to take Mama D, really, because she'll have her little conversations. She'll have her mental thing going first, so they're gonna all know all about Mama D before she even gets there, and she's just gonna be like, come on, we're gonna have our conversation.
That's what I do. I do with the living. I do with the those that have crossed over. So I'm good.
Yep, absolutely.
Ghosty hugs.
No. I am. I mean, if I was as close as you two, we'd be in trouble all the time.
Oh yeah. Grocery stores would be in trouble. Gina hates grocery shopping, and she was, I gotta go grocery shopping. I'd be like, when I come down there, we're gonna go grocery shopping. You're gonna stand on the edge of the basket, and I'm gonna push you.
Well, if you make it fun, I'll go.
I will.
Yeah, I just, I don't know what it is about grocery shopping.
She does.
Ugh, don't like.
Well, Jesse will be coming over pretty soon, because we have to have a house blessing.
Nice.
Yep, absolutely. And it's spring, and as soon as retrograde is over, then plans can start. It'll be over soon. Oh my goodness, what a retrograde! Let me tell you.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Do your house set up your room that the spirits go into, and not the whole house, and disrupt everybody else?
All right.
If you have to do it with coins, if you have to do it with dust, if you have to do it with salt, if you have to do it with
Right.
whatever brick dust
Linda.
whatever you need to use, you use it and seal off your room and say, this
Mhm.
is where you go, not anywhere
Right.
else.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, absolutely. But
I noticed my cat hasn't come in this room one time.
No.
She came in when Mama D and I were here.
mhm.
And then when the rest of the night, she hasn't been in the room.
Huh.
But she came in the room last night every time
How many times?
Vivian would talk.
Yeah.
Whenever Vivian would talk, she'd come in and like, who is that?
She must
Okay.
like your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And,
And I think that's the only time she actually smiled in the entire show.
but yeah,
Yeah.
How can you
Cats
not?
and solar celestial beings and cats, like they go hand in hand. I mean,
Yeah.
cats were gods once,
Yeah.
and
Still
you
are
know,
in my house.
so they still are. My
Well,
son likes to think they still are at our house too.
you
I would
have to
have
watch
90
that
of them,
show.
but yeah. So I wonder if your cat had recognized that language that was unspoken, that we
Probably.
as humans couldn't hear, but
Well,
she could
because she said she had
She has a bangle. Is it bangle?
She
They-
had her team. No, she has her team whenever she
Look at
goes
it all times. Yep.
whenever she goes into a room or whenever she's, working or whatever, she
It's
said
really
she had
unique.
her team. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they were entities of light and you couldn't see them, but apparently
Right.
Faye does.
Yes.
right.
Yep.
And they could have been conversing together, like talking back and forth, and
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they could have been calling the cat back in.
yeah.
Yeah, they could have,
Your
Who
cat could
knows?
be
Yeah, that was such an interesting show because I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah, that one. If there was a recorder going on in your room at that time, I would
Mhm.
wonder if you would get the voices on there.
I wonder.
I have now. There are people that have picked up, paranormal investigating, have picked up alien stuff, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
mean, I wonder. I wonder if that's a on the Hertz line there,
It could be.
could be picked up.
Yeah.
As
I mean, the extraterrestrials and cryptids and paranormal, it all goes together. I mean, there's so many. It's all the different timelines and the realities and dimensions. Like things cross back and forth, and
Yeah.
we're definitely not the only ones out there for sure.
no,
Mm-mm.
no,
And
that's too.
if we think we are the only ones out there,
Oh,
then
God. Yeah,
we're a little
Yeah.
come on.
You think too highly of yourselves
Yeah,
if you
Chris.
think that.
Chris is Judith and I met Judith through Chris. But
Okay.
Chris Short's the psychic that I work with, cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that house that with the that crazy spirit,
Mhm.
the one that I crossed over. Well, I took him over there because I'm like, this is nuts, and this was before any of that happened. And he's like, what he saw in that place, he said he's never seen ever in his psychic career. It's like he was looking there was a room there wasn't even a room there, and he was seeing a family in a timeline, and then
Mhm.
over here he's seeing another family in another timeline, and then over here it's like another timeline. He's like, this is like it's
City
kind of like
house.
a vortexy type
Yeah.
area. I don't know if that's what had to do with that squelchy things too. So you never know. You never know. The field is so endless as to where you can go and
Mhm.
how in depth it can be. Like when you were saying, I was saying, do you slow down? You want to
Yeah.
hear all the timelines? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a great thing. However, you could mess people's timelines
Oh
up.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very.
you must
Exactly.
be careful with what you do in this field too.
Right.
Don't
Right.
mess past like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because you could mess
Well,
up some karma, you could mess
now-
up some dharma, you could mess up, 3
Oh,
generations ahead that's not even born yet. You know
Right.
what I
But now I work with timelines and I will go back in my own timelines and try to heal situations and things.
Big time.
That refer to you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And even that will change somebody else's life in even the most minute way, but it will, because it's like a pebble in the pond. You throw the pebble in the pond and you got a ripple, and that ripple goes out to the entire pond.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to
Make more
watch
universe.
everything that you do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Observing. That was our word of the day.
Yep. Yes,
Observe.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, observe.
Absolutely.
Don't jump in because it's, oh, we could do this, we could do that. Don't jump
All right.
in head first.
Yeah.
Observe, learn.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not going and changing time or like events or anything, but like, that healing the extra hurt that's like lingering over. There's
Yeah, but people grow from hurt too. People
for sure.
grow, it forms people into what they are.
Right.
Some people do need to have that past hurt healed themselves. But
Right.
if you're going into ancestors' timelines, then that person might be, like you said, it would be different, and you got to start over again because now you're healing something completely different. You know what I mean?
Yes. Once you heal yourself, you heal your ancestors and future generations.
Yep.
Yeah, in one
Very
way.
true.
Yeah, healing the future would be more beneficial.
Right.
The past has happened. The past formed the people. If we have a trapped spirit, we can cross them over.
Exactly.
However, their journey is still continuing.
Right.
It's endless, and it's like it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for a
No,
weak warrior. You know what I mean? Don't go
Yeah,
jump.
because somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and just going in like, I mean, I know that I wouldn't do this by myself, but if I was a nincompoop and I decided to do it by myself, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what doors you leave open. It's
Right.
like how many people back in the day used to play with Ouija boards and spirit boards and forget to close.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
open it. It's like, and then they would wonder why, well, dude, you forgot to close the door. Do you always leave your door open in the house? It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
I was actually just talking to somebody, like not even an hour before the show started, about Ouija boards, and I'm like, they're a great tool to use if you know what you're doing. The problem
Exactly.
is they're sold in Walmart in the toy aisle to kids that don't know what they're doing, that don't have parents that know what they're doing. So that's when crap hits the fan.
Mhm.
The big thing with Ouija is that's why we made that thing, is because it took the human touch out. It's like that's what everybody's all up in arms about, is because you're using your physical energy on the planchette, telling the spirit to come into you to move the planchette. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Right? And especially when you use that by yourself too, because you will get some spirit to trick you, and that's not progressive entrapment is what that's called, and they'll lure you in and pretend that they're aunt or uncle or grandpa or whatever, and they're not until they got you, because they keep putting their energy into you, and it can, but it doesn't normally happen like this. All right, as a spirit can enter you and take you over like that. It's a process.
It is a process.
So, like you said before, you didn't realize what was going on until it was too late.
Right.
That's what happens with the Ouija board if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do the rules correctly, it's like a tool like any other tool, and just say hello, goodbye, only invite, love, like kind spirits,
Right.
That kind of thing. There's a long list. I know, like, we're way over, guys.
Yeah, we are. Almost 2 hours, but yeah.
Are you okay?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just tired. I get up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Wow.
So yeah, I go to work.
So on that note,
So about this time of night, it's pretty far past my bedtime. I usually don't. I don't even know what the best word is, but like about 8 o'clock, I just cease to exist in plane because I go right to dream world. About anywhere after like 9 o'clock, I just start clocking out. But like it's 9:45, and I'm like, man, this is really good. And then I just got that like first wave of sleep.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. It was just like, oof. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just
I was like,
tired. And I know you usually only do an hour show. We're used to doing a 2 hour
Yeah.
show.
right,
And,
right.
you know,
And yeah, but yeah, I could have paranormal and spiritual witchy discussions all day, every day, all night.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because
But,
it's seriously, I mean, we could
Mhm.
break out the equipment, we could show all the clips and all
Right.
the
Oh,
recordings and the everything else. And, I mean, it's, oh my God, talk about all the locations and,
yeah.
Mhm.
what happened. I
And
remember all my locations, who was
oh
at
yeah.
those locations, and what was said where, and,
Mhm. Yeah.
oh,
And honestly, I have more funny stories than I do scary stories.
me too.
Everybody thinks that it's so terrifying and scary, and I'm like, honestly, it's fun. They like to laugh and have fun. They love company.
Yeah.
And a lot of the grumpy ones, like I love grumpy old men, especially grumpy old farm men. They're my favorite people. There's something about a grumpy old man that just cracks me
You
up.
have to, I know, and you wanna just,
Yeah,
that you can fix them, and that you can break that
yeah,
exterior and get them to open up to
exactly.
you, right? Because I
Yep,
did the
and
same thing
yeah.
in my
So
cleaning business.
So when I find them on the other side, it's like, we're buddies. And he's like, what? I'm like, oh, we're buddies. Just wait. And then by the end of the night, I've got a friend. And
Exactly. I
yeah,
was
I
I
just
was
I love
arguing with a grumpy old man in Hillview's, boiler room about football.
oh, oh my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
his
the
favorite coach
maintenance
was
guys.
Nolan, and mine was Belichick. And we had a very lengthy conversation on that.
Hmm. It always seems like it's the farm guys and the maintenance guys
Yep.
that are the best, and the mechanics, the spirits
Yeah.
and mechanics, like and sometimes they get a little bit rough around the edges, but
Of course,
you know
so will I.
it's one of those. But being from the time that we have now, what they say really isn't that shocking. It's just when it just randomly comes out of the conversation, but it's still funny. I find it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I've always been comfortable around guys. Like all of my friends growing up were all guys. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's no different on the other side of the veil. Like
Right.
I'm okay
It's
with
like
it.
it's
It's
like
just
you
it's
you make
funny.
you make the friends with them, like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh god, in that Houghton mansion, I'm in the basement, that's again the
Mhm.
same thing where we always had to go place by ourselves. Well, we picked the basement, and we were all trying to watch for a ghost cat. Okay, I
Mhm.
didn't get no ghost cat. Okay, I got the films going and all the stuff, and there was a wire go down the stairs, and there was the DVR camera, and the thing came undone, and Frank was coming down the stairs to fix it, and I hear it, and I said, "Who's that knocking at my door?" I'm singing like this, right? And I said, "Who's coming down?" And a freaking spirit right next to me because I had the recorder in my hand, and you hear it as loud as can be. It's that man. It's like, oh, okay.
I
Somebody
love
like
it.
Frank.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think one of my favorite um it was an asylum, but it housed one part housed um like Civil War widows and the families, and then the other part was for like the more, I don't like to say insane, but back then the term was
Oh,
insane.
okay.
Um
Yeah, the poorhouses and the stuff. They
yeah,
dumped
yeah.
everybody at. Yeah.
Yeah, they sure did. And the one maintenance guy, Harry, was there. And yeah, he was long past and everything. And he was just walking around, and the tour guide was trying not to give too much information and everything. And she was like, "Oh, the maintenance man passed away in this bathroom." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was Harry." And she's like, "Well, have you been here before?" And I said, "No, it's on his name tag. He's standing right next to you." And she couldn't see them. She just knew the story. She's very big in historian. She'd never had any like experiences, but I'm like, it's right on his name tag right next to you. And he was funny. Oh my goodness, he was so funny, but sad. I mean, he did take his
Yeah.
life.
Right.
But he really did have kind of a cheery disposition. And for the rest of the night, I would hear him walking down the hall and whistling. Just
Oh my
just enjoying himself. He was there for the long haul. Might as well enjoy it. And so that
Yeah.
was neat.
Funny things that happen. Oh my God. One of the very first investigations I went to, we were at Rolling Hills. And she says there's a morgue downstairs. It was actually a kitchen, but there was, it's calls it a morgue. But we're in there, and all the cameras are in there, and all I have is a flashlight and millimeter. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because everything is in there, and I'm just standing there, and then I hear something in the hallway. All right, so I walk out to the hallway, and I'm still hearing something, and I'm like, "Hey, guys," and the Sue, that crazy lady, okay, she was standing kind of by the door with the camera, and they were trying to get something going on in the morgue. And then all of a sudden I hear, right, like my millimeter starts going up, 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 okay, and it went off the charts, but I hear, right, running down the tunnels right at me. I'm going, guys. And then Sue's gonna she's gonna try to come out, but she has the big camera. She's like kind of turning around, and I'm just like going, guys. And now I was standing against the wall, and I'm walking back like this, and it was a little girl spirit, because I could feel it, was running down the hall, ran right through me, like hit me like a sack of potatoes, poof, and my hair went poof, everything. And then she went right out a door that's like blocked off. She went right through the door and outside, and then I'm screaming, right? Because I'm just like, ah! And then I turn to go into the doorway as Sue is actually coming out. So now all you see and hear on the camera is crash, because we're crashing into each other, screaming, laughing at that point, and
Right.
drop things. Oh my God, it was like insane. But I go up and I'm telling the woman that owns the place about what happened, and she's like, well, there's a little boy spirit down there. I'm like, this was not a little boy. This was a little girl. I know her. If I ever came across her again, I would know her in an instant, because she ran right through me.
Yeah.
But I mean, that has never happened since,
Mhm.
But I mean, you hear it coming up and then to run through you. So, she was probably just playing. You know what I mean? And running away, maybe with that little boy spirit down there that was in the laundry area or whatever, because it's a big tunnel that comes down. There's a junction, the part where the bad janitor is over there, and the thing here, and another tunnel thing over here. But that door that goes outside's been blocked off for years. But it must have been open while she was there, because she just went running right outside, And these things are just so amazing. Amazing. And when they happen, it's like it scared the crap out of me at the time, but I lived to tell the tale.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it.
Okay, Jesse, so we're going to have to go on a ghost hunt.
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely.
Anytime. And I'd love to take a longer week or so and be able to go out to New England. There's so many places I want to see out there.
Go from Indiana, stop here in Pennsylvania. We'll go from here up to New England. Go to all the old stomping grounds and the haunts. Go to Gardner Mansion.
I would love that. So I got to go out to Crescent in Pennsylvania last summer in August. Crescent in Crescent, Pennsylvania. So it's an asylum and a prison. So check that out when you get a Creson, Crescent.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
Well, they have a castle in Ohio.
Yeah. Yep.
And
it's that way.
That's not
I love Ohio.
far away from us at all.
Yeah. Moundsville too, West Virginia.
Yeah, we could do like a collaboration meet somewhere. That would be fun. That would be a really fun episode too. Oh my goodness. That would be wild.
I would love to do something with you.
The gears are turning.
Grab Mama D from
Canada.
Across that damn border.
I gotta get my passport. I keep saying it and just never happens. But it will one day.
I gotta get mine too. But
I gotta renew mine.
Yeah.
I've never had one, so
No.
Don't need one to talk and steal me away.
Yeah, I'm really, really tan.
Shove me in the trunk.
Black, like really dark tan with freaking bleach platinum blonde hair. It doesn't even look like me. My passport picture.
Yeah.
Horrible. Good.
well, what wisdom would we like to leave our guests with tonight?
Please be careful in the paranormal field.
Yeah. And if you don't know, especially like a tool, like a Ouija board or something, don't mess with it. There's so many moving parts to it that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unseen moving parts.
Yeah. And trust your gut, trust your instincts, because those are direct lines from your spirit guides that will tell you, don't do that. If they say don't do that, then don't. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, shield yourself. And when you go to bed at night, shield yourself.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep.
Yep.
And when you take a shower too, cleanse your chakras when you shower.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
a very, very
Yep.
simple. And then don't forget to close it back up. Raven taught me that one. Yep.
Yep.
And
This
of
is a
course,
good one. This is a good one to just,
selenite.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
And
my
it doesn't matter
selenite.
how big or how little, it all does the same thing.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep. Selenite goes around a lot of my electronics.
Yep.
Time. I have it in my office at work.
I
Yeah.
have selenite on every windowsill and every doorway, including my garage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
There you go.
really?
Yes.
Well, that teenage boy is just a prank guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think I honestly think it's my son because he comes around and he,
does that then
I
that,
don't,
that
I don't feel any negative energy out of him. And I use my heart for discernment, and
Hmm.
I feel it in my heart, and I feel it's Jonathan.
Aw,
I do.
okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's
And
great.
you have the wisdom and the skill to be able to have the true discernment that, like, you would know if something was not right.
Yeah. Oh,
because-
absolutely.
Yeah, because a
The
mother.
neighborhood that I came from. Yeah.
So yeah, you above almost all other people, you would know. So
Yeah.
you trust that. Trust that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So,
And Mama D is gonna send some love out on the wings of a butterfly. So watch for the
Butterfly.
butterfly.
Yeah.
butterflies.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the paranormal won tonight. What do you think, Mama D?
Yeah, I think they did, but it's okay. I enjoyed it.
I
I
did
always
too.
do. When Gina has a paranormal guest on our show, I just sort of sit back and I soak it all up like a sponge. I know eventually it'll come in handy because my two go-to people for my first investigation is going to be a toss-up as to who I get first is of course Gina without a doubt and Jay Lynch from Ohio. That's like
Jay.
Oh,
I thought
God,
you were
yeah.
going with Joplin. George.
No, George. Well, George is going to get his.
Sprinkles.
When I get to California, I'll go see George. But yeah, no. Jay and his crew were the first teams that I watched do a live paranormal show, and I was like, they did a live investigation, and I was like, the first time I connected distance with what was going on, and I was messaging his wife, going, "This is what I'm getting." She goes, "Really?" So yeah, so that will be they'll.
And that's doable too, especially people with powers like you and you too, Raven. Could, if you were patched in, like say on a computer or a laptop or whatever,
That's what I
to a
did.
live investigation, you would definitely pick up on all the energies and the things that were going on. You might be
Oh,
able to
yeah.
see things
Yeah.
that were going on. So, that's also a way to join an investigation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So in that case, I've done a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
The stumbles. There you go. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the time I actually get in there,
Yeah.
get my feet cold, because I know I'm gonna at some point if somebody touches me and decides to start poking at me, I'm gonna be poking back after a few words pop out my mouth.
I'm
I
sure,
get
I'm,
excited.
sure they, I'm sure they would. And I'm sure
yeah.
they would do it in a fun way because they're just.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Absolutely,
Poking me
absolutely.
means to be tickled. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm unfortunately very ticklish.
Well,
All
they
right.
know we're really late, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys letting me ramble. And I know I'm
No,
We're good.
No, I love it.
was
I
a
love
fun
it.
show. It was just, it's so nice. You guys really
Mm-hmm.
have to check out the Fox Den because Gina has some amazing guests on. Gina and Mama D have some amazing guests on, and especially last night. You guys got to watch that
Mhm.
show.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
Mama
it.
D, you should put that link up there for that show
Mhm.
so everybody can go watch it. This lady was a hybrid.
Yeah,
Avatar.
hybrid avatar Arcturian.
Yes.
Yeah, she's on all these councils and with
Mhm.
the Lyrians, Andromedans, and something else. So the at the beginning of the show, I have that video that I made of her, and it really is her timeline. It really is every single thing about her, and then you'll see that. But that's on. Go to the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and it's like that whole thing. The Fox Den with
Yeah.
Gina
I just put the links into the chat, and I'm gonna go and put it everywhere.
and then subscribe while you're there.
Yeah.
So, and that was amazing because not only are there entities out there, there are ETs out there, there are
Other beings and
so many other beings and parallel lives and
Mhm.
all of that.
Yeah,
So,
And we're
and just because
we're being protected by negative things coming our way.
Yep.
mhm.
Through
And-
her and her her team.
Right.
Yes.
and just because something is inhuman does not make it demonic. I will blanket that. I will die on that hill. I'm telling you. Everybody's like, inhuman means demonic. No, it doesn't.
No,
No, it doesn't. And
No,
I mean, we can all be demonic at some point. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
well, I'm a redhead and a scorpion.
Thank you, Lisa Love Light. Love you, sister.
Yeah. I mean, if you see me when at like 2:30 in the morning when I roll out of bed, it's awful.
there.
It's awful.
Yeah, it ain't party.
It's not demonic. I don't want to get up.
I sound like
Because
that.
she'd be demonic if you don't give her her coffee in the morning. Now, that's another
Yeah,
story.
You'll
No,
see it come out of me.
But before we go, I do have to with the demonic thing. When I was sick last March and I was on that investigation and I was like feeling horrible, I had laryngitis terribly, like my vocal cords were swollen, and I didn't realize it. I hadn't paid attention to it, but when I would breathe out, it sounded like a growl. And one of the girls next to me was new. It was one of her very first investigations.
It's a demon growl. Yeah.
So she kept
saying,
catching
"Oh my God, it's a demon!" It's
she
like
kept catching the growl on the recorder, and I'm like,
no,
"That's me."
right,
And that's when I was like, "I need to go to bed." I just need to go to bed. So yeah.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
then
it's like
you
you
trust
want
your instincts and stuff too, or bad things happen. Like I'll never go to Waverly because every time I tried to go to Waverly 5 or 6 times, someone died, something happened, I had to cancel the trip every single time. And it was not anything light, it was everything major. So I am not meant to be at Waverly for whatever reason. So I'm like, all right, for the sake of everybody around me that I love, I am not going to Waverly. I'm not risking anybody else. You know,
exactly.
I try to plan a trip there, so I won't.
So, Jess,
Mhm.
what is our next show? Our next show is in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And who would that be?
Dr. Erin Bowman. She is a psychologist and spiritualist, witchy woman. She combines psychology and spirituality. Sometimes in her practice, depending on who clients are.
Yeah.
Phenomenal woman, very, very intelligent, wicked bright. She's very love and light. When you see her, she's very, like, I don't know, blonde and bright, and it just goes with everything. Is just so jolly with her. When she smiles, you just feel so at ease. And yeah, I absolutely love her. I love to pick her brain about different things because I love psychology and I love spirituality, and being able to mix that all together is just fascinating. And she can do it with grace and ease. So
So awesome. Catch us in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And our next guest will be her. And also go watch the Fox Den and the ladies of the Fox Den. They have some pretty awesome shows. And you never know when one of the ladies of the Fox Den will pop in on Soulfire Ascension.
that was
We
I love it.
have an open door policy
Yes.
for both sides. So why
Yeah.
not?
Yep.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
And yes, you can
Absolutely.
pop in on some of our paranormal shows that we have.
Oh,
Although I don't have a lot,
love
but
that.
I just got another book. I booked her. It's a little teeny book, The Nature of Ghosts. This is going to be
Ooh.
one of our
Oh,
guests.
interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I've got
Matrix.
let me get my food out the way here, but my shelf right here dedicated to all my ghosty books and creepy stuff and Ed and Lorraine Warren works and whatnot.
Yeah.
you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Awesome.
worked
And
with John. I know John very well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, met the Warrens.
Yeah,
Been to the
absolutely.
cemetery. Been to the museum. Been to John's museum. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have John's book is up there. I have some books.
I've been looking. I'm like, that is
I got a
incredible.
bunch of books over here. I got a bunch of books over here. So like the show's coming up.
Yep.
Down,
Oh, that's just the one little shelf in all my bookshelves.
down,
Like
down
I've
below.
got a whole bunch of them, but
Yeah.
that one
In the
shelf is just
library.
my ghost. So
Found it. What was she looking for?
She is looking for the
Link
link
our
to our show, and our
Lady
show
show.
is Soulfire Ascension on
Mhm.
YouTube.
on
Good.
YouTube.
I love you, Judith.
Thank
She's a fabulous woman. She's a fabulous.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
thank you
It's been
to
awesome.
Gina B and Mama D.
Well, we thank you,
Thank you
Raven
to our
and Jesse, for having us on. It's been awesome.
We love
You're
you.
welcome anytime.
We love our audience. So
Mhm.
love and light to all. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. We'll see you.